Hi everyone, my name is Tengxiang Zhang. I'm an assistant research professor from Institute of Computing Technology, Chinese Academy of Sciences. Today, I'm going to present facilitating temporal synchronous target selection through user behavior modeling. The work was done both at Tsinghua University and at the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Temporal synchronous target selection has three advantages. The first, it does not require any device association. And second, it is compatible with different modalities, which can enable accessible inputs. Users can tap thumb, tap foot, knock on the table, clench teeth, and even blink eyes for target selection. Third, it only requires binary sensing capability, thus works with extremely resource-constrained sensors. But there are still two limitations for existing temporal target selection techniques. The first one is their lacks a quantitatively blinking pattern optimization method. And second, existing synchronized selection techniques do not consider input errors that users make during the synchronization. So first, we need to simplify the pattern design space to reduce the complexity of behavior models. So we choose a cyclic pattern with fixed duty cycles and which does not enforce any coding. We design a two-dimension design space with one dimension being the blinking period and the other dimension being the initial lag before blinking starts. Then we need to determine the optimization metric. The probability when the input pattern I is recognized as pattern G can be expressed using a Bayesian equation. The priority is determined by blinking patterns, and the likelihood is determined by the models of user tapping behavior. So, we conducted the first user study to build synchronous tapping user models. We choose the index finger keyboard tapping task for easier signal acquisition and processing. We recruited 12 participants and tested 9 periods from 300 to 700 milliseconds with 50 milliseconds in interval. And we used the same initial lag due to the time homogeneity nature. And we can see the distributions for both the period and the initial lag. Actually, it follows a univariate Gaussian distribution in general. So the resulting patterns are 22 patterns in the 2D design space, and the period is from 300 to 700 milliseconds separated by 50 milliseconds, and the initial lag is separated with each other by a 2 sigma t, and sigma t is the standard deviation of the Gaussian distribution of the input period. We then enumerate through all pattern sizes from n equals 2 to 22 to search for the pattern set that maximizes average recognition accuracy. We optimize the pattern for two recognizers, the Bayesian recognizer that we propose in this paper, and the widely used correlation recognizer. And there are two recognizer parameters for optimization, and the first one is the time window, and the second parameter is the threshold. So first we conduct simulations to validate the optimization results, and it shows that the Bayesian recognizer performs better when the time window is small. And this is expected since the small window means the input is short, which means there might be more imprecise inputs from the user. And this shows that our Bayesian recognizer is robust to imprecise user inputs. We then evaluate our Bayesian recognizer, our optimization method, and the two recognizers, and we use the smart TV movie selection task to mimic a real-life scenario and evaluate the two types of pattern sets. And the first one is the optimized pattern size and the second one is naive period increase in pattern sets. And the results shows that the optimized pattern size has a better performance for both recognizers, and when the input is short, and the Bayesian recognizer performs better for long. And when the input is longer, the two recognizers' performance actually converges. And surprisingly, 9 of 14 of the participants thinks the visual distraction is actually low. We also conducted multimodal evaluation on two other modalities. And the first one is a thumb tapping on capacitive touch rings, which has a similar performance with the keyboard tapping using index fingers. We also evaluate foot taps on RFID tags, and the foot has a worse synchronization performance, and we found it better when the periods of the patterns are longer. Thanks.